Well, hey folks, this is my second video today. Um, did one this morning, and I'm actually really excited. In the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I've got to share the gospel with 5 different people, and these are people that were actually asking about the gospel. It was just really, really neat. Now, I have been sharing the gospel since basically the week that I became a believer 25 years ago. I have trained people how to share the gospel. Um, one year at summer camp, I trained about 100 short term missionaries, missionaries that were going to Europe, on how to share the gospel. I remember um, when I was training them how to share the gospel, 2 girls actually got saved in the training. They realized they weren't believers. And that was really cool. And typically, most people share the gospel in the same way. And that is, you either start with the law and work through that way. Another neat way that I've done it before is um, kind of sharing the law, starting with how righteous do you think God is on a scale of 0% to 100%, and 99% of people will say 100%. And then I say, well, how righteous do you think you are? 0% being as bad as the devil, and 100% being as good as God. And if they're depressed, they'll say about 25%. If they think pretty highly of themselves, they say about 75%. Most people say 50%. And then I'll walk them through to have them realize that they are 0% by their own admission. But the last few times I've shared the gospel, these are people that have zero church experience, come from families that zero church experience, growing up in atheistic, agnostic families. All friends are either atheistic or agnostic. Don't know much about God, and they have questions. And so I found that a really good way to share the gospel, it's a lot longer to do it this way, but it's a lot more thorough, is you start at creation. And you work through creation, work through chapter 2 of Genesis, work through chapter 3, work through chapter 4, talk about the flood, go into Abraham, and then go into who Jesus is and what he did on the cross. And tonight I shared it with 3 young people at my friend's house. My friend became a believer. We baptized him in April. And he married a lady that has 3 children, and these 3 children are not believers. And they had some really good questions in 3 hours working through this. And basically, if I could paint a picture for you, the way that we started, it was like putting puzzle pieces out on a table, starting with creation. By the time we were done, all the puzzle pieces fit together, and they were very excited. Now, I don't push anyone to make a decision. I say the decision's yours. You don't have to believe this if you don't want to. But if you do, this is what happens. If you don't, this is what happens. And I leave it there. I let the Holy Spirit do his work, because salvation is from God. It's not from me. It's not like I have a background in sales, and it's not me saying sign here. This is only something that can happen from God. And biblically speaking, the gospel is the tool that God uses to bring about salvation. So I was just really, really excited to do this tonight. And these young people seemed very excited about the gospel also. So if you would just pray for these there are two young people that I shared with today, but there was one in the bedroom knowing that I knew that she was listening, and she was the oldest. And I pray that she overheard what was being said. And if they have some questions, I would definitely answer. Their dad, their stepdad, I'm very sure that he would call them their dad. Um, he can answer a lot of these questions also. But he's a new believer, has a religious background, but a new believer. And I think it was very interesting for him to see how I shared the gospel this way. So anyway, I talk a lot about the Bible and church and what I'm learning in the Bible and just sharing it with you guys. But my passion is not only teaching and preaching, but my biggest passion is sharing the gospel. And so, do you guys share the gospel a lot? If you don't share the gospel, have you ever thought about sharing the gospel? Do you know how to share the gospel? Uh, if you'd like to learn, let me know. Put a comment in, and I'll teach you a few ways to share the gospel. Anyway, guys, have yourselves a great night. I know it's a short video, a lot shorter than my other ones, but just really cool tonight. Anyway, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.